Welcome to Doomscroll. I am Matt Sheffield.
And I'm Lisa Curry. So we're going to start off with Donald Trump's Truth Social company stock, which is now in a total free fall after his felony conviction a couple 3 weeks ago or so. So I saw that story the day after. Is it still continuing to go down?
It is, yeah, because basically, after he got convicted, that people felt like he could actually go to jail, and of course, he's the majority owner and the supposed executive of the company. But then also, even more importantly for stock holders, is that the SEC had approved a plan to basically dilute the stock and allow the original shareholders to sell off more of their shares. So basically, it means everybody's shares are going to be worth less in the company. And like this is the beginning of the unloading, essentially, where they're going to, they got the inside traders got their sweetheart deal, and now they're going to leave the MAGA dopes holding the bag, as they so often
well, the disappointing thing is now that their stock value has tanked, they have less money to give to Trump. That's what's really sad here. These people must be devastated that they, can't, they don't have as much money to give to him directly.
Yeah, well, and it is so incredible that anyone would actually think this company is worth buying right now, because it has no profits. It burns over $200 million a quarter. It has almost no users. I have an account on there because I like to poke them once in a while. But it's funny because
you don't value peace, you don't look after your mental health.
No, I guess I like to troll them sometimes. I will say. And so I'll go on there and post things, but nobody is there. It's like an apocalyptic wasteland on the internet where people are huddled in the replies of the big accounts, clustered around the Springs in Mad Max or something like that.
The only people on the left I know that have accounts are, you and then a handful of reporters. So it's just kind of basically people checking up on what the hell he is saying to his followers.
Yeah, basically. And even MAGA doesn't like it. That's the other thing, is that they know that no one uses it. They'll go on there to read, whatever Trump has shat out for them into their mouths, and then that's it. Then they leave. And because they don't have an audience. So this is though his biggest, most successful scam ever. And but I have no sympathy for them, and I'm glad that they wasted their money on this instead of giving it to his campaign or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely think of better ways to spend your money, but it is sad because his base is largely uneducated and not wealthy, and these people, a lot of them aren't going to end up with Social Security when they retire. That's going to be gone. And here they will have given any of their savings to Donald Trump. And it is
the guy who doesn't need it. Yeah.
Sad. It is sad.
It is. Yeah. And by the same token, while the Republican Party constantly betrays its own voters, then they go and do shit like what just happened in Louisiana, where the Republican governor and state legislature there passed a law that will require every classroom to have a poster-sized blow-up of the 10 Commandments right there in the classroom.
I'm forever infuriated by this.
Yeah, and it's and the Republican governor of the state, he was like, I am looking forward to being sued about this. I want them to sue me. And the ACLU has announced that they're going to sue him already. And so, but the Republicans have stolen the judiciary. So that's why they're doing this, I think.
Well, I think that God bless the ACLU. I don't think they're going to win the lawsuit. I think that is a waste of their time and money because this is legal. it's legal now because of the case, the Supreme Court case from 2022, Kennedy v. Bremerton School District, where this is this has made me so mad for the last 2 years. I've just been boiling over this. This was the case where there was the coach that was praying with students out on the field, and how it was presented was that he was like, oh, I just like to pray, and there was some other students like to pray, and they asked if they could join me, and that was that. And like, it's freedom of speech even though it's on school grounds. Well, because my mom is a religious person, and I think the decision came out on my dad's birthday, and so his phone number at this point is just like basically a hotline to yell about politics. And so I called him, and we were talking about it, and we're shouting about it. And my mom took the phone, and she's like, "That's not true. Prayer in school is still illegal." And this guy, she presented the case the way I just explained it. And she goes, read the Supreme Court case. And I was like, okay, because I know my mom's not going to. And I go, all right. And so I just read Sotomayor's dissent. And in her dissent, she outlines all of the evidence the conservative justices withheld from the case, which was the fact that like he had been doing this for years. He had been reprimanded multiple times. It was proven that he was favoring kids that prayed with him and punishing kids that weren't. And he still
got away with it.
Yeah, and they have all this photo evidence, and the conservative justices they just left all of that evidence out, and it was voted 6-3 right on party lines. And so now you can pray in school. We don't have separation of church and state anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that is especially galling, though, to me about this whole 10 Commandments bullshit is the very first commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So it's literally the state saying that you cannot have any religion other than, Jewish or Christian. And, like, that's flagrantly anti-constitutional. And it's also
Jewish, depending on, the New Testament or Old Testament, depending on what you're going by.
Well, yeah. But the other thing also is like the justification that they give for it is this total lie that, well, our legal system is based on the 10 Commandments. And it's the first ever sort of recording of law and human, and it's total bullshit. Like when I was in college, I took a bunch of ancient history classes, and like the English and American legal systems are based on Roman law. It is right there. Like, why do you think we have all this Latin in our court systems? People start talking about a jurist, blah, 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 and you're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Well, that's because they're talking Latin. They're not speaking Hebrew. The medieval Europeans, they thought that the Mosaic law was stupid and superstitious garbage. They had no interest in Judaism. And they, so it's just totally not true. And the Romans literally had their own stone written rules for society, laws. They call them the 12 tablets. And that's what they were like. If you're going to you claim that you want children to know the history, that's what you should tell them about is those 12 tables. And, and like, there's so much other ancient stuff that's much more relevant, and it's total bullshit. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. It pisses me off.
It is really frustrating. But then if you were to ask them, if you say, like you just said now, they need to learn history, a lot of these psychos think the Bible is actually just history.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are people that think Jesus was riding dinosaurs and there was really 2 of every fucking animal on a boat. It's
Moses loaded up the apatosauruses. And then meanwhile, the Republican Party, while they're doing insane shit like this, they're continually getting more and more insane. And then the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, which is the far right Republican group in the House, his name is Bob Good. He's basically being canceled by Donald Trump because he thought Donald Trump was not far enough to the right. And Donald Trump was like, no, you have to do what I say if you want to be the true conservative. And so now it's like a MAGA civil war that is happening right now in Virginia. He got challenged by a guy, and the challenger is ahead by 307 votes as of this rating. And so, like, I'm looking forward, and I really want them to have a stolen election brouhaha on this one.
Yeah.
We need this to happen. And luckily,
This,
Steve Bannon has endorsed the challenger.
speaking of Steve Bannon, also he he requested to spend his sentence in a really nice prison, probably the one Martha Stewart was in or something like that, and he
Basically.
was denied the request for that prison. I can't wait to see which one he ends up in. I hope it is rough.
Yeah, he basically he wanted to be at a minimum security prison, and it's sometimes called Club Fed,
Hmm.
as a joke, because of how easy it is compared to other prisons. But yeah, Mister I'm a populist man of the people. He's going to have to go to jail with the people, and he's very angry about that. Yet another example of how it's all bullshit when they say they're populist.
You know,
Um,
the thing that is really disappointing, though, with him going to prison is that I'm sure there's no shortage of white supremacists in prison. So I think
oh
it's,
yeah.
famously child molesters in prison get murdered by other prisoners. I think he'll be applauded. And that bums me out.
Yeah, he'll probably come out with some lifelong friends, and
Mhm.
maybe some other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but we'll see. We'll have to see, I guess. He has to report July 1st, and so we're looking forward to that. For those who celebrate, I think that will be a good day. But of course, speaking of this whole fake populist bullshit of Republicans, Donald Trump has been scrambling after he was revealed to have said in private that he thinks that Milwaukee is horrible, a horrible
Mhm.
city. And it's, of course, the largest city in Wisconsin, which is a swing state, a state he absolutely has to win. And they're holding the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Uh, and
I
so
have to
now he's
say,
saying, I love Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is one of my favorite cities in the country. I was just there in December. It's so much fun. Milwaukee feels like mini Chicago to me. Kind of the
Mm.
same beer and brats culture. It's on the water. They've got great outdoor summer stuff. The cost of living is excellent there. It's beautiful. There's parks. It's I think he's out of his mind. And of course, he hates Milwaukee. I think he hates everywhere that isn't Trump Tower in Manhattan specifically.
Or filled with people who will worship him. And his hatred, though, of Milwaukee is so extensive that he apparently had scheduled to stay in Chicago while the Republican convention was in Milwaukee. That's how much he hates
So
Milwaukee.
dumb. Well, he does have a
So
Trump Tower in Chicago,
he
right on
he
the
does,
river.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, I
And
could see
luckily,
him
I've
wanting to
never
stay at
seen
his
it.
own place, but God, he's awful.
And yeah, if the Democrats are smart, they will be playing those comments to residents of Wisconsin every single day and make sure that they
That
know
is,
that he
but
hates
Matt,
them.
that is if they're smart. And I don't
Hmm.
think the Democrats are the best at strategy. I kind of, I really doubt they're going to be playing that somehow.
Hmm. Well, yeah, no, like they really do not. Yeah, they don't realize, like, so many Democrats have this idea that we want to create the perfect message and then push it to people, and it's like you can have the best words, to use Trump's phrase, and if you don't push it, then it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter, because if no one hears what you're saying, then it doesn't matter how great it is.
Hmm.
And they don't get that. And that is frustrating. It is frustrating. And to that point, though, the Republican Party has been flooding the internet with videos of misleading videos. So they don't even need AI to make this shit. They just crop out parts of it and use it to say that Joe Biden is freezing, or he's wandering off because he doesn't know where to go. And then meanwhile, if on the other side of the frame where they cropped it out, he's literally going to go and talk to a guy, and that's why has turned around.
I will say a friend of a friend worked with him recently and said he was very bumbling and had to be like led from place to place physically and was a little out of it. I don't know that it does us any favors to pretend that he is spry or like a 60-year-old. I mean, just like us over. It is driving me nuts when the left, when somebody says, well, Biden's old, and no, he's not. No, he's not old. Yeah, he fucking is. Or when people are like, he's only 81. There's not only. My dad is 71. I wouldn't want him to be the president. I feel insane that we're pretending he's not too old to be president. Also, Trump is too old to be president. Like, both of them are too old. One is just less fucked up. And we unfortunately
and one of them's been
the lesser of two evils.
Well, and one of them has been crazy since he was in his 30s.
Longer than that.
In addition to being, extremely old. But the other thing that gets me about these criticisms of Biden, and I think it's fair to say, as you were saying, that have concerns that he's old. And, but I mean, the reality is he's got good advisors, and they actually have policies that have been very progressive, much more than Obama was, and much more than Bill Clinton. So in that sense, I think it's hard to complain if you're on the left. But anyway, that's a sidetrack. But like at the same time, they're saying Biden is incapable mentally of being the president. They also have no fucking idea about anything. They're saying Biden is brain dead, and then meanwhile, they don't even know what the word zeitgeist means. And Fox and Friends, the host Brian
This clip
Kilmeade,
is so good.
This clip is
so good. I can't wait.
Not work. They need I'm just telling you what's out there. Out in the zeitgeist.
Well, crazy. Zeitgeist is located inside a cell, right?
Inside a cell?
Right. Can't you? A zeitgeist.
Look at the guy on the left.
Isn't that located inside a cell?
Zeitgeist is like the ether. It's just out there.
Oh,
like
really?
a cell in your body? Are you thinking about...
Every once in a while, I'm thinking about 8th grade biology.
Are you thinking about...
You're tapping into my knowledge.
Is it a zygote? A zygote.
It could be zygote, yeah.
Brian, where did you get that from?
Right.
I feel like we have these moments at least once a day.
Which is what?
You
have to intervene?
You're right. And we go, no, Brian. Don't go there. No.
I'm just thinking about it, yeah. No, I'm thinking of mitochondria, which is the brain of the cell.
Okay, all right, there we go.
You know what? You're thinking medical stuff because there's going to be, at 10 o'clock this morning, a big
Yeah.
He's just pulling out Oh, no. I meant to say this. No, what are you talking about? You didn't mean to say that. You were called out. You very confidently said zeitgeist is the center of a cell or whatever the fuck.
Well, yeah, no, it's just like layers and layers of stupidity on the clip. Like, I encourage everybody to watch this multiple times because it's so hilarious. It's like a Coen Brothers in comedy in 2 minutes. Because not only he thinks that a zygote is zeitgeist, so he doesn't know that, and then they make fun of him for it, and then he's like, oh yeah, actually I meant to say mitochondria, and it's like, what? What the fuck does mitochondria have to do with anything? And
what
then
because to do with anything?
No, it has nothing. No, and like you look at his face, and he's like, it looks like he's high out of his mind. He's just sitting there, it's like that is exactly the kind of thing that somebody who's totally stoned would say in the middle of a conversation. But then also, and because I am a giant nerd, I know this, that what they were saying about the mitochondria is also not correct either. Because they're like, yeah, the mitochondria is the brain of the cell. And it's like, no, guys, that's 8th grade biology. That is the nucleus. Hello. The mitochondria is the energy creator of the cell. But like I said, they're people who couldn't remember things from 8th grade biology. I mean, hey, again, you're going to say Biden's stupid and you don't know any of these things. Like, Just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Anyway, it's a great clip. I love it. It was
Very
like
funny.
that clip from last week that we played with the Freedom 2.0. Like right wing media is so good at unintentional cringe comedy. It really
Oh,
is.
it's oh God. I sometimes I'm like, I could write, well, whatever. I could write jokes about the left for them. It's like I don't understand how they're unintentionally so funny, but then when they intentionally try to be funny, they cannot hit the mark for anything.
Or it's
When they
because they
try to
don't
write
know
jokes,
anything.
when
Yeah.
they try to write jokes, it's the Mike Huckabee show. And when they're not trying to write jokes, it's a Trump rally where he's fucking calling what's his name, Ron DeSantis Meatball Ron, which is, I'm sorry,
and
that's one of
talking
my
about
favorites.
sharks and batteries. Like, well, something that is newly in the zeitgeist is the idea of having women register for the military draft. There's in the Senate now, the military authorization bill for the first time ever has the idea of requiring women to register. So what do you think, Lise?
I mean, listen, I think women are angry enough that we could probably go out there and win the war effort for the United States. I think we fucking have had it. I don't like the idea of that. I mean, but also just registering doesn't mean doesn't necessarily mean they're bringing back the draft. There was like a little hullabaloo this week where they were talking about like men being registered, automatically registered. And all these people were like, no, it's like they didn't say they're bringing back the draft. Men have been registered for service since the draft ended in 71. This is continuing to go on. It's just the same thing is happening. And like the part that makes me disagree with it isn't even the gender thing. Although there is a fucking time limit on us having kids, and you know that would fall within conscription, and that makes a lot of sticky territory of like, are women going to get pregnant on purpose to avoid the draft then, or are you going to be fined for getting pregnant? What if you get pregnant and you lose it? What if you're trying to get pregnant? What if you can't have kids, but you're, going through the process of IVF, or you have like, I think that component of it makes it way too muddy. And also I don't like the idea that we just keep expanding the military again and again and again. Like Space Force is already a fucking joke. I think it's going down the road of just adding more and more troops so we could keep expanding the military. And it's like pretty soon we're going to have only a military and no schools or roads or or anything. We're just going to be one giant military.
Yeah, well, and you got me thinking though, the idea of giving exemptions for pregnancy. That would be the perfect way to have a national registry of pregnant women so that they could be tracked for abortion.
Bingo.
Yes. These motherfuckers.
Well, did you hear there was a theory a while ago when they were, when Roe was overturned, and then they were, saying like, oh, it's going to be a felony if a woman does get an abortion. In some states, they wanted to make it a felony. And so there was this theory being floated around that was a backdoor way to take away women's right to vote. Which I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I don't know if that was their initial thought, but I think it's in there somewhere for sure.
Yeah, well, you never know with these people. Their policy ideas are stupid and fucked up, but their politics ideas of forcing their will on everyone, like they're very good at that. And I know because I used to work with these assholes. But I guess in other policy news, California Governor Gavin Newsom has said he wants schools to ban smartphones for students while they are on campus. And I think, well, I'm pretty sure every teacher is going to be in favor of that.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it. I don't think you need a fucking smartphone in school. I don't think you need a phone in school at all. If you have to get a hold of your parents, you should have their phone number memorized or written down on your folder, and you can call from the office if something happens. Like, my brother was in a horrible car accident when I was in school, and somebody came to my class with a little note that I needed to go home, and I think that is sufficient. I don't know. Sorry to sound like a boomer or whatever, but I don't think you need a fucking smartphone in school. I don't think, or any phone at all.
Yeah, I just don't know how they can really enforce it though. That's the thing. Like, especially because so many phones are. I mean, especially if you're doing a dumb phone or because of Bluetooth or whatever. Like, you can put your phone any number of places, and their teacher would not know where it was.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Bluetooth thing, you're not going to have AirPods in and have your phone in your bag. That would be an obvious. You're linked up to something,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like, how are they going to know if a kid has it in their backpack? That's the thing. But yeah, I mean, I agree overall that it's definitely a distraction for kids in schools, and most schools
in their backpack
already do.
Like, if they're hiding it enough, then
how is it a distraction?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, climate protesters have been arrested in England after they threw powdered paint onto Stonehenge. I love the environment. I would love to see huge changes in what's going on with climate change. I also think this is not the way to do it. I think that is ridiculous. Yeah. This is something that is for the public. It's not like ruining art. What are you you're not proving anything. Are you?
Yeah.
And the same thing I say with other people that protest. And look, I love a bit of anarchy, but who are you telling what when you do that? Like, I see this and I'm not like, oh, you know what? That reminds me, I gotta recycle more. I'm just like, a bunch of fucking assholes.
I think that's what most people are thinking. Yeah, because like, I mean, these stones are some of the oldest, monuments that we have in the world, and you're going to fucking trash them. Like, that is.
It's some people just
and it was
attention,
also
like
today is the summer solstice, and so that this is their biggest day of the year for Stonehenge, and you're gonna.
I have a friend who's literally there today, who's literally there right now.
Really?
And
okay, cool.
For that, and she's also a big environmentalist, and she was mad about. I also would love to know the people doing this. Are they doing just this little performance art or whatever, or are they also doing beach cleanups? Are they helping any kind of environmental effort that doesn't get you attention, that's not sexy, that actually helps, that, you know what I mean? That's a direct thing.
It's performative, yeah. Because again, the whole point of Stonehenge now, if you like Stonehenge, it is literally a humans in nature monument. Like, it's one thing to, I don't know, let's say go and spray paint, a Starbucks or some, giant, nuclear waste producing plant or something. Like, that's a totally different thing. But like, Stonehenge is as pro-environmental as you can possibly get in this world, and you're fucking trashing it.
It's not putting out any exhaust.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? Just like get out of here. Just go away. You're not helping.
It's very dumb, and it's very performative, and I think doesn't do anything for anyone. It's frustrating to see. Very frustrating.
Well, and speaking of dumb things that don't benefit anyone,
this is so good.
It is a Vermont state lawmaker, who of course is a Republican, has admitted that she poured water in a fellow lawmaker's bag every day for 5 months straight. And has not said
would be
why either.
curious. I will say you would think this woman would put her bag in a different place. If
There was actually a
they
guy, but yeah.
Oh, it was a guy.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. What a dipshit he is. If you were putting your bag in the same place every day and every day, 5 days a week for 5 months, what is that? 20 I don't know. I'm not doing the fucking math. Who cares? Whatever amount of time it is.
Mhm. Like that it keeps happening. Yeah.
You think
like-
he'd be like, let me put my bag somewhere else. Let me keep it on my person.
Well, okay, to be fair, I don't know that he put his bag in the same place every time. We don't know that. But yes, if he did, I agree with you there. But it's just like this is like, Samuel Alito wife crazy type of gesture. Like that's what this is. Like,
Yeah.
why are you, what is the point of this? And
You
then
know
you
what?
don't say anything about it. Like, why leave a nasty note or, anything? Just like, no, water.
What I'm frustrated by is the report says that, after this woman was caught, she said, quote, I am truly ashamed of my actions. That's predictable. We knew she was going to say some kind of apology or something. My question is, why the fuck did she do it in the first place? That is I don't care what she said afterward. I want to know what the motivation was for her to do this in the first place.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a story we're going to have to keep our eyes on here. I'm sure it is impossibly stupid, whatever the answer is.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
In good news, depending on who you are, George Santos has joined OnlyFans, which doesn't necessarily mean he's doing porn. Actually, OnlyFans for quite a while now has said that they are going to get rid of porn, which I don't think they understand what their business model is or what they are known for. Somebody's got to tell them. Look, I have friends that are on OnlyFans I have friends that are on OnlyFans for sex work, but I also have friends that are on OnlyFans for their writing, and they make money on there, or they're doing stand-up shows now, and those people are making money. So who knows what he's doing? I do love George Santos just as a character in the world. He is exceedingly entertaining to me.
Yeah, and he did say, rather sarcastically, but not exactly untruthfully, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. And I think that's true. A lot of people, like, we knew this would happen, and we want to see where it goes. Like this, I would much rather have a Republican who posts on OnlyFans than a Republican who just tries to destroy the American Republic.
I would like to have all Republicans on OnlyFans and none in Congress or on Supreme Court benches.
That's right. There's got to be fetishists out there for all of them. Yes, I think this is the career change that they need.
Yeah.
And we don't have to watch it either. That's the other great thing. But speaking of porn, though, Pornhub, the most popular porn site, has said or announced that they are blocking access from 5 more states because these states, and there's 12 now that they're targeting for blocks, because the Republicans who run these red states are trying to make porn sites collect your photo ID before you can look at them. And Pornhub is like, guys, you are the ones actually who are trying to do this. So they're trying to create state agencies to keep track of what porn sites people look at. I mean, it is just insane. Like, it is fucking insane.
Politicians' obsession with people's porn, aside from kiddie porn, I don't think they should be weighing in on, and by kiddie porn, of course, I do mean kittens. I don't think they should be weighing in on anybody's porn preferences. I think they should keep their nose out of it entirely. Let people do their weird, freaky shit behind doors so that they can, leave us alone or get it out of their system or whatever. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, and it's also, like they're, I mean, it's all under the pretense of, save the children, protect the children.
Always.
But yeah, like, I mean, the idea that a state government is going to have this information and not have it be hacked, like, no one fucking believes it. And the porn industry is like, look, you already have platforms that keep identification, which is like the mobile platform, like Apple or Google. Like you have to have age verification on there. They know what your birthday is or whatever, right? And so they're trying to say, look, just work through them in the pass through, and it will protect privacy. And all these states are like, no. We don't want that, but because that is the objective, is to criminalize anything other than church wedding and church wedded heterosexuality. Like that's the goal here, is about controlling people's lives. It's not about the children, and it never was.
It never is. It never was. If it was, they would care about children. They wouldn't vote against kids having school lunch taken care of. They wouldn't. This idea that, like, well, if your parents are too poor, then fuck you. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, like they are literally trying. Yeah, they are trying to stop free public school lunches. Like, it's fucking outrageous. Like, you talk about being pro-life and pro-family. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Hey, and great news though. Justin Timberlake has been charged with a DWI. This makes me feel so good. He sucks so hard for what he put Britney through, for what he did to Janet Jackson when he threw her onto the bus after the fucking their stunt at the Super Bowl. And I love to see it. Fuck him. Apparently also the arresting officer was very young and heard Justin say under his breath, well, this is going to ruin the tour. And he was like, what tour? Like, he had no idea who he was. And Justin's like, the world tour. Which also, like, I'm sorry, you're drunk driving and your big thing is, this is going to ruin my tour. First of all, you're not driving on the tour. Secondly, I think the bigger problem is you could have killed someone drunk driving. You fucking moron. That's the bigger problem.
Yeah. Although he wasn't wrong, though, Lisa, because the Daily Mail reported today that his ticket prices, the shows haven't been canceled yet, but they have had to cut the prices of tickets to as low as $11 per show.
Yes. Wait, after this or before this?
After the DWI
arrest.
Makes me
so happy.
So
good, I hope he only makes $300 for the show. $11 after the venue fee, what his representatives get, the taxes on it. I mean, he's making probably $2 a person or $3 a person.
Yeah, I have to think it will be canceled now. Yeah.
Oh God, this makes me so happy. Oh, he sucks. He really sucks. That's great.
Yep. Well, in yes, some other good news. Some scientists in Spain, they announced the discovery of the world's oldest wine bottle. It was 2,000 years old, and it was owned by some ancient Romans. And this family who lives in Spain, they were doing some work on their house. I guess they had to do some excavation, and they discovered that there was a giant mausoleum underneath their house, which is, I guess that's kind of like a horror movie scenario.
Isn't it, right? Mausoleum? Like, or have I been saying that wrong?
Oh, shit. I don't even know.
You said mausoleum.
I don't even know. Yeah. I mean, you're probably right.
I was like, did I say it wrong?
Yeah. I
love it. I think you should leave it.
One of us is right.
Yeah.
But but isn't that like the plot of like half of the horror movies out there, that my house is built on an Indian burial ground.
The whole country in this case built on an Indian burial ground, actually.
wait, say that again.
I said our whole country was built on an Indian burial ground. So yeah, it's always the plot. Another thing is, I'm like, it feels like every 4 or 5 months or something, scientists are like, we discovered this ancient thing in a tomb, and it's like, leave it alone. We don't need whatever fucking crazy demons are living in it. Leave it there. Don't touch it. Leave the fucking tomb. Leave the sarcophagus. Leave the 2,000-year-old wine. I would love to find a mausoleum under my house, though. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, when you just know that somebody's going to try to take a sip of that wine because why the fuck wouldn't somebody if they could?
Yeah.
And but no, I mean, it is incredible though that it didn't evaporate. And I guess, you know, I don't know, it's got to taste better than Manischewitz or any of those other ones. Any of the other gas station wines people buy.
Here's the thing. It's still better than a lot of the fancy wines that we're supposed to love or like be excited about. Definitely still better.
Well, and that, yeah, you know, and that actually is true. Like the wine industry has been kind of upended because there were, and I forget who it was, but like somebody did a taste test with, you know, various fancy label wines and then various very expensive, you know, inexpensive ones. And, you know, in many cases, people were like, yeah, they really couldn't tell the difference. And these were professional sommeliers. And so who knows?
Yeah, most people are full of shit, I think, with the wine thing.
I think that's right. But you know what isn't full of shit is if you subscribe to this show on Apple Podcasts or YouTube and leave us a nice review. But now you can be full of shit on that one if you want, as long as it's 5 stars.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah, as long as it's nice. Please, if you got something mean to say, just go somewhere else. Thank you for listening.
Send it to Lisa on a direct message.
Yeah, send me, yes, exactly, on Instagram, where you can follow me at Olympian Lisa Curry.
Nice. All right, and then make sure to follow us on @Doomscroll Show, and you can get me at Matt Sheffield as well. So that'll do it for this one. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.